Hello and welcome to our second and hopefully final online St George's Day. Across the district, beavers, cubs, scouts and explorers are all beginning to return to their weekly meetings, and whilst they might be slightly outside the norm, we're all hoping you're really enjoying your return to scouting. Today we're live streaming from the Queen's Garden in Newcastle, the location from which we usually parade through the town in full uniform, with drums playing and flags waving above our heads. We're gutted we can't all be together, but I'd like to now introduce Paul Bailey, our district chairman, to kick off this afternoon's celebration.
Thank you, Vera. In what's been such a difficult year for all of us in Scouting, it's worth remembering some of the words from our founder, Robert Baden-Powell. A Scout is never taken by surprise. They know exactly what to do, even when the unexpected happens. Of course, Scouting has come a long way since this was said, but those words still hold so much value today, and they perfectly sum up the way all of you have handled such a tough time over the last year. Online schooling, not being able to see your friends and family, and all the uncertainty we faced of when we can return to normality. But well done to each and every one of you for persevering and rising to the challenges that have come your way. With the end now hopefully in sight, we hope to see you back on camp very soon.
Right, we'll now do the beaver promise. We're going to renew the promise for all the beavers in the district. A promise renewal is the most important part of any St George's Day. It reminds us what it means to be in Scouting. It's a little bit windy. And what we should do to act in our day-to-day lives, not just as beavers, cubs or scouts. First, we'll say the traditional religious version of the promise, and then we'll move on to the non-religious promise. Feel free to repeat whichever one you prefer after me. Please stand and make the scout sign with your right hand. I promise to do my best, to be kind and helpful, and to love God. And I promise to do my best, to be kind and helpful, and to love our world.
What Vera said about the promise there is so important, and I'd just like to focus in briefly on what she said about your promise in your day-to-day life. Our theme for St George's Day this year is Promise in Action, and that's to serve as a reminder to all of us about the responsibilities we have as members of the Scouting movement, not just to each other, but to the wider community as a whole. Because of this, the district has set up a link with Belong, a care home in Newcastle. This link is an opportunity for everyone in the district to bring a smile to the face of someone who's been extremely isolated throughout the pandemic. For beavers and cubs, we'd like you to make posters, draw pictures, or write some short messages to the residents in Belong. Scouts and explorers, we're asking for you to have an ongoing conversation with a specific resident to become their pen pal. You can ask about their lives, tell them about yours, and hopefully everyone can get some joy from the experience. So please speak to your leaders if you'd like to get involved. I'm now going to introduce Dave Gray, Deputy District Commissioner, to renew the Cub promises.
We're now going to renew the promise for Cub Scouts in the same way as we did with the Beaver promise. We will start with the religious promise and moved on to the Scouts value promise. Renew whichever one you feel more comfortable with. Please stand and make the scout sign with your right hand. I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Scout law. I promise that I will do my best to uphold our Scout values, to do my duties to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Cub Scout law.
It wouldn't be right to not mention the passing of someone who's had such an impact on young adults throughout the country as Prince Philip did. As we move on to the promise for Scouts, Explorers and Leaders, the Duke of Edinburgh Award will be something you will be, have done, or currently are completing as part of your time in Scouting. The Duke of Edinburgh Award is more than just an expedition, giving teenagers the opportunity to volunteer for charities, learn new skills, and spend time in the outdoors. There are many whose lives would not be the same without the scheme. Having personally set up and helped to run the scheme, it is right that we hold Prince Philip in our memory on what is the most important day in the Scout calendar.
We should also think about Her Majesty the Queen, our patron at this time, who was 95 years old only a few days ago. This is obviously a very challenging period, losing a husband of 74 years, and for the first time shouldering the responsibility of being head of state for the entire Commonwealth without her supporting influence. Throughout her time as the longest-serving monarch in our history, Her Majesty has never wavered in her commitment and devotion to her subjects. Before we move on to the Scout Promise, it is worth mentioning one of the commitments we all make within it: to do my duty to God and the Queen. It is a line we sometimes may glaze over because we're often unsure of what this duty entails. It means we show respect for her and what she stands for, including abiding by the laws of your country or of any country you may visit. We've talked a lot about the promise today, and as it comes quickly towards our time in which all Scouts, leaders and explorers will take time to renew their promise, please try to consider the meaning of each line as you say it, and hold these values in your life.
This promise is now for all remaining members of the district, Scouts, explorers and leaders. Again, we will start with the religious promise and move on to Scout values. Please renew whichever promise you feel most comfortable with. Please stand and make the Scout sign with your right hand. On my honour, I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Scout law. On my honour, I promise that I will do my best to uphold our Scout values, to do my duty to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Scout law. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks, everyone. Over the last 12 months, we've heard that groups have met in lots of different ways. Young people have gained badges. They've worked towards so many different awards, Duke of Edinburgh, and they've been amazingly resilient. I'd like to say thank you to all the volunteers who've supported them to meet those challenges, and also thank the parents and carers and all the relatives who've helped them, and any key workers in that support over the last 12 months. You have made a real difference. We've been able to present awards over the last 12 months, some virtually, others we've been able to do personally, and the lengths of service that's just been recognised this year alone totals over 360 years service. These people are doing the volunteering in lots of different roles, uniform and behind the scenes. And I think the volunteers have been inspirational. And if you have been inspired by what you've seen, please will you speak to the Scout leaders at your group or contact us at newcastle-district-scouts.org.uk, and as a volunteer role with your name on it. We'd love to have you join us. We've been able to recognise a variety of people for a whole range of things. I'd particularly like to mention Paul Bailey from Basford Scout Group and Greta Bloor, who were awarded Chief Scouts Commendation for Meritorious Conduct. I'd also like to name Dot Bailey and Mike Deakin, who are standing behind holding the George and the Union flags. They were recognised by Her Majesty the Queen with the British Empire Medal, and that's for their service to Scouting and the community. We're so proud of all our volunteers and the recognition that they really do deserve, and it's an amazing achievement. Well done to everyone. A final thank you will go to Jack from the Youth Exec. You've seen him today. He's our Youth Exec chair. He's been responsible for pulling this event together today. And also to Adam. He's behind the scenes with all the IT technical wizardry. Without him, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you so much, everybody. And let's hope next St George's Day we'll be here in the Queen's Gardens together and have one heck of a parade. Thanks, everyone. Bye.